Pump it up. Come on. We got this. All right. It's time for another video. Hello and welcome back to this week's video. First, I just want to say quickly before we get into any of the actual video today, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who has been watching my videos since I started posting again. I just really appreciate it. And also a thank you to the people who have newly subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for watching, just helping support me and what I'm doing, I guess. But anyway, into the video. This week is going to be a little bit different. As you can tell, I am standing. Normally, I like to sit down. Honestly, I'm feeling a little strange standing up, trying to talk to y'all. Feels just a little awkward. As you probably have seen from the title of today's video, I'm going to be reading some of my poetry. And so I think standing up is just going to be the best choice for that. Who sits down to read their poetry to people? Not me. Anyway, today I want to share some of my poems with y'all. I think I'm really just going to share one poem and just kind of talk about how I wrote it, what it means to me, kind of the process behind it. Hopefully that's interesting to y'all. I totally get it if poetry just isn't your thing, but yeah, this is just me sharing, you know, another part of what I do. Hopefully if there's anybody else who likes poetry out there, maybe they'll like to hear this from me and maybe even get some inspiration. You know, all about the inspiration. I don't ever really read my poetry out loud to other people. Technically, nobody's really here with me to make me that nervous, but this camera might as well be a person. And so that makes me a little anxious, but you know, that's life. Without further ado, let's just hop into reading this poem, vocal.media. That's where I post all of my writing. So if you're interested in reading any more from me, be sure to check it out. But this poem is just nice because I've really been working on trying to improve my writing skills when it comes to poetry. I think you can really see that in this poem. I started taking masterclass, if any of y'all have heard that. It's like a skill sharing kind of website where you can learn all sorts of different things. And so I've been working on improving my poetry writing. In any case, let's just get into it. This poem is called The Flooded Path. Today I was running along my usual path, splashing through small pools of water and crunching branches beneath my feet. Beside my path to the left runs a creek, and today when I looked, I was surprised to see the murky water flowing so high and monstrously. And I was unnerved to find a part of my path swallowed by the creek. Should I try to cross, I wondered. My path and the one beyond this foam are calm and certain, but in between is only uneasy water. If I am timid and weak and unprepared to fall, and only sink further, will I only be a devastated dream? I searched for a way across and hoped to find a rope in the shape of a hand, but it was only me before the murky stream. If I am strong and sturdy and there is nothing to fear, and am pulled away and flow unnear, would I only be forever grateful? But it was curiosity, or perhaps foolishness, that led my feet through the water and safely to the other side. Still, there was no one to witness or praise my triumph, so silently I cheered for myself. I looked back and saw the dark water still flowing, and I knew I would face this battle again. But with power in my stride, I looked forward and continued along my path. Boom. And that's the poem. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to that. Honestly, reading through it, I was kind of like... So yeah, now I just want to kind of talk about the poem a little bit. I guess some of the creative process, some of the meaning behind it. So break it down stanza by stanza. So I start off the poem kind of just setting up the scene. So, you know, I say, today I was running along my usual path, splashing through small pools of water and crunching branches beneath my feet. Setting up the scene of like, this is me running along a path that I normally go down. This like small pools of water and branches beneath my feet are supposed to kind of give the imagery of a storm had like just passed, because this poem was inspired after stormy weather here in Oregon. It's been a little flash floody. So last week I was literally running along a path that I always run along. So the path that I run along also goes right along a creek. Here, let me show you. Let me show you. I don't know if you can really tell from this video that well, but that water is pretty high. In case you didn't believe me, it's quite flooded around here. So it's literally what the first like 3 stanzas are just kind of building up or establishing the scene. So basically running along my path, and I come up to this flooded area and I'm like, bro, it's flooded. After we get to that point, then the next 3 stanzas start, if I am timid and weak and unprepared to fall and only sink further, will I only be a devastated dream, which is supposed to be like thoughts going through the character's head of like, should I do this? Should I go for it? Will something bad happen if I do this? Then the next stanza is like, I searched for a way across and hoped to find a rope in the shape of a hand, but it was only me before the murky stream. The metaphor of the rope being in the shape of a hand is supposed to just give clues to the character kind of looking for help. And then the next stanza is, if I am strong and sturdy and there is nothing to fear, and I'm pulled away and flow on near, would I only be forever grateful? So I like this stanza because I got a little crazy and I made up my own word. On near isn't a word, but it just fit better, so I went with it. But this whole stanza is really just about, you know, kind of showing the flip-flopping of the character. First was like scared of what would happen, now is wondering, well, maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I'm completely capable of making it past this obstacle. And the lines, would I only be forever grateful, kind of just hinting at like, would I be grateful if I made it to the other side of this? Would the experience teach me something? And then the last 3 stanzas, but it was curiosity or perhaps foolishness that led my feet through the water and safely to the other side. Basically that stanza is just showing like, well, the character decided on some whim or something compelled him to go through the flooded path. Then the next stanza goes, still there was no one to witness or praise my triumph. So silently I cheered for myself. And then this acknowledges that this was something that this character did by himself and needed to appreciate his own skill in handling this situation. And then the last stanza just goes, I looked back and saw the dark water still flowing and knew I would face this battle again. But with power in my stride, I looked forward and continued along my path. Which is basically, you know, just kind of saying the character made it across, but looks back and sees that obviously the water is still there and knows that it's likely not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So he's probably going to have to face it again, but now he's kind of okay with that because he's made it through once, so why can't he do it again? So then he just kind of continues on his path. It's kind of just the thought process of some of the stanzas as I was writing them. Now let's just talk about the meanings, possible meanings that are in this entirely complex and deep poem. I'm just kidding. But anyway, let's actually just talk about what kind of meanings do I see in this poem, at least. And then y'all can let me know in the comment section what kind of meanings you might have found while you were reading. I see two kinds of meanings. One, I think it could be about like this character's healing process. You know, when you're kind of just going through life along your path and you feel, you know, maybe you feel like you've healed from some kind of past trauma, but the trauma itself hasn't, you know, actually left you. The emotional aspect doesn't just leave you. So it kind of acts as that creek kind of flowing beside you, and sometimes it begins to rise really high and flow over into the path that you're currently on and obstructs your life. And then you're kind of just faced with the choice of, am I going to deal with this, or are you going to turn around and decide that you're just not ready to do that yet? So that's kind of one of the meanings I see in that poem. The other meaning is similar to that. It's about somebody's life journey in general, where just going down your path in life, and everybody kind of eventually faces some kind of obstacle that, you know, you have the choice of, are you going to overcome this? Are you going to face this obstacle that's kind of keeping you from being where you think you might want to go? Or should you just like turn around and stay where you are, I guess? The character could have gone off to could have found some other secret path. And so this could really be about like, you know, finding your own ways around this obstacle or your own ways through life. It's just kind of interesting to think about. You know, I was talking about how I wrote the character is there by himself. I think that's really representative of the fact that, you know, a lot of the times, a lot of the difficult situations in our life, we kind of have to deal with ourselves. Yes, that kind of brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me your thoughts down below. Did you like the poem? Did you read it already? Are you gonna go read it again? Let me know. If you did like it, please share the actual post with people, or you can share this video with people. I would really appreciate it if you did that. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate that you're here. If you like this video, please let me know down below. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do, share if you'd like, and I will see y'all in the next video. All right.